There's 4 remaining teams in the NFL. We're going to do a fantasy draft using only those 4 teams, and me and him are going to have a 1-week matchup. The bet is for a cheesesteak. Cheesesteak of choice. What would be your cheesesteak of choice?
This dude talked about Pacheco in the 3rd round.
Oh, I should have went Pacheco,
dude. This dude talked about Pacheco in the 3rd round and he goes undrafted.
There's never enough content of people eating cheesesteaks on the internet. We know that. All right, NFC Championship week. You know what it is. We got the Birds coming in.
Go Birds, baby. Go Birds.
Absolutely, but a little bit of I don't know, maybe a sort of a downtime where you're just kind of thinking about your fantasy team, your dynasty team, but we're going to have some fun with it and relating it back to the playoffs a little bit. But I mean, yeah, like, I don't know, right now I've been trying to make trades nonstop. Me and Grove are the only 2 teams who have made a trade now so far in this offseason, which makes sense. Everyone's waiting for the draft, waiting to see what happens with players, free agents, stuff like that. But
I've been sending offers. I've been trying to make offers. I keep hearing back that people want to wait and see closer to the draft because a lot of my offers involve draft picks. So I guess people want to see what it looks like once players are on teams, which makes sense. But I'm trying to trade, but I think some of my trades are also on the more big player side. So
some of my trades are really like pretty low key. And I feel like people don't want to make low key trades right now because my players that are my big players, I need to hold on to. They're my young players. I want to go out and get one player and I'll give you a bunch of draft capital and some pieces for that one player or something like that. There was one trade that I had for a pretty solid wide receiver who I think both parties agreed that it was a fair trade, but the other party wanted to hold on to the receiver to put him into like a more blockbuster trade in the future. So I was trying to make a good trade, but fair enough. This one party said it's a fair trade, but they're going to hold on to him and try to go get something even bigger with, throwing him in with somebody else. So it is what it is right now. A little bit dry.
Yeah, let's wait till the draft at this point. That's what I feel like. Ride it out. Everyone wants to just see where people get drafted. So I'll just chill. I'll let the offers come to me. I feel good where I'm at. I'm not going to lie.
I feel okay. What happens for me in the draft is going to be dictated by what trades I potentially make this offseason before the rookie draft. But it's okay. Either way, we're going to have some fun with it today and kind of focus in on some NFL teams and how it relates to fantasy a little bit. So
I'm gonna throw one more thing in there that reminded me. The playoffs, as we get into it, they definitely dictate players' values because a player that's on the trade block right now in our league is Dak Prescott. And I'll be honest, pursuing him pretty heavily. Yeah. I won't lie. I was going after him, but after his performance, I rescinded the one offer that was out there at that point still. So in the words of the great Shady McCoy, Dak is ass. I don't want him anymore.
Oh man, Shady McCoy, dog. I love Shady McCoy, but like he's trying to be Stephen A. Smith too hard. But as an Eagles fan and he's hating on the Cowboys, I do find it very hilarious.
Calling a player ass is one of the funniest single lines of analysis.
Ass.
Like, you're not ass, he ass.
Oh my god, bro. Fucking wild. But yeah, definitely playoffs they could boost a player who higher than his true value, and then they can make Dak, I don't know, probably come back down to it what his true value really is. I don't really know. I'm not saying he's as bad as he was in that playoff game, but I feel like people thought he was more than he was.
Well, the Cowboys you saw the Cowboys made that tweet about if they're the self-inflicted injuries and Dak Prescott's lack of performance. How is the official Dallas Cowboys tweeting about the Dallas Cowboys as if it's not them?
Yeah, I've never seen a team
it's like
explain what happened in the game. Like, just put the final score up.
Yeah.
Just say, been good season. Good ride. Love you, fans.
It's like whoever's like the social media person for the Cowboys is also like secretly like a beat writer under an alias and like posted it on the wrong account.
Honestly. Yeah, I've never seen a team when they lose explain what happened in the game, like why they lost on social media. I've never seen that.
With the Dak part of it though, it's like if your own Twitter account is coming after you, like if his situation changes and he's on a different team, I feel like that's when you start to see quarterbacks kind of take that step back in fantasy when they leave that like golden spot of a team and they kind of go somewhere else. Like you saw it with Matthew Stafford. I mean, he won a Super Bowl, so that's not true, but but the next year
he actually had like one of the best seasons of his career, and then he probably overplayed.
Had one of the worst after that.
Oh yeah.
And then Jared Goff like moved, like Russell Wilson moved different spot. So I mean, you can find a lot of examples where it's the other way, like Geno Smith moving around.
I mean, there's definitely some truth to a player going somewhere at the end of his career to find that perfect spot, but he's only going to be good for that one season. I mean, look at Tom Brady, same exact thing. And Tom Brady wasn't even actually that good his Super Bowl season. He was good in the playoffs. So yeah, actually, he wasn't even that good in the playoffs. So he threw two interceptions in the NFC Championship game. So but speaking on those terms of different NFL teams and what they look like and how they're structured. In case you were wondering. Embiid's playing?
Yeah.
Oh, my dad's at the game. He's going to be hyped about it. Anyways.
Yeah, sorry to get us off topic on the fantasy football dynasty podcast to talk about Sixers news, but
we're going to go through and talk about like which NFL teams would be the best fantasy roster. If you basically only drafted that roster, how good would your team look? And I'm like basically in a redraft league because not necessarily looking longevity. I wasn't looking at it like that.
I was looking at it as terms of dynasty. Like if you had to roster a whole team right now in a dynasty league, like which team would you want to have?
All right.
And I mean, we could look at it from like however.
Well, it's somewhat similar, I guess. Yeah. So that's fair. I'm cool with that. I mean, these are obviously no one really knows unless they go and do that. But one. All right, let me see. I'm gonna start with maybe more of an obvious one. The Bengals. Obviously Joe Burrow is at the top. Will continue to be at the top. He is a young quarterback who probably hasn't even hit his potential yet. You got Joe Mixon, a little bit older, but still a very solid running back. I think he finished as the 10th best running back in our league, and according to Sleeper. And then of course Jamar Chase. And the only thing that they're kind of lacking is like a very good tight end. Hayden Hurst is solid, but
he's not bad. He had his weeks. And T Higgins. I mean, T Higgins is nice.
Oh yeah. T Higgins is a great. He's a wide receiver one basically. So yeah, I mean, I would say they're pretty stacked.
Yeah, I had Bengals on there. I had them. If I were to rank these, probably in my 2 slot.
Okay.
So I'll go with
number 1B.
So I'm just gonna. I'm not even gonna elaborate. I'm gonna keep the Eagles there because I feel like it's just like for me, like just to talk about the Eagles. It's like I do it every time, and like everyone, like if you know, you know. So I'm gonna go to one that maybe is not as a couple teams that are maybe not like first thought. So the first one I'm going to go with is the Lions. I think dynasty wise, there's a lot of talent there. I think Jared Goff's one of the most underrated dynasty players you can get right now.
What's up,
I think DeAndre Swift, I know I've said that I don't think he's going anywhere, but again, like if you're just looking straight fantasy value wise, he has value. Amon-Ra, St. Brown stud. There are other receivers too have value in their given weeks if you look at their matchups and with injuries like Khalif Raymond.
That offense was very solid, put up a lot of points this past
DJ
season.
Chark, and then Jameson Williams. I think he's going to be a stud. I love him. I don't know if that's the best fit for him. I think they could have probably went somewhere else, but I think he's going to, in that offense, he's going to be really successful in fantasy wise, like a player that can just get over the top like that. He's a great player to have. So I think the Lions is a team that you would want to have if you were going straight dynasty value right now, if you were to start.
Yeah, for sure. All right, this one, All right, I'm going to throw one out there, but it's not necessarily great from a dynasty perspective, but probably an underrated like fantasy value team that you wouldn't think of, the Raiders. I mean, once you think about the players, you certainly understand it, but you wouldn't go to them because their offense wasn't anything really that great. But of course, Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs had such like a quietly unbelievable year. I know
I
we were
feel like he
talking
was
about, but
really good early on, but yeah, kind of quiet but great. I mean, that team just wasn't anything special, but he
he
was.
just got so many touches. Remember, I was telling you, he got as many touches. It was like the second most out of any active player, right? In like that's going on besides Derrick Henry. It was like it was an insane
like
amount of touches,
games with
and
like
that's so important in fantasy. Touches
40
is one of the
touches.
most important things. Yeah.
But yeah, Devontae Adams obviously great. Like I think Devontae Adams finished as number 5 according to Sleeper in our league, and Jacobs was number 3. You got Darren Waller again. He's aging. He was injured a lot this season, but still a great tight end. Hopefully, he stays healthy moving forward for at least a couple more years. So yeah, I mean, I thought that they were a great roster.
Waller, he's on my team. I didn't realize how old he was till recently. He's like 32 or something.
Yeah,
He
he's
kind of
like
came on late in his career. Because I feel like he kind of just took off over the last
people do
few
not
years.
think of him when you think of elite tight ends, but
Not
he is an
anymore.
elite tight
Over the
end.
last couple years, I would say last year and maybe the year before he was up there, and then this year he took that big step back.
Yeah.
But I do like him a lot. Obviously, he's on my team. But okay, next one. I actually thought you were gonna say this at first, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think the Ravens are another team that's like definitely not like the pinnacle, but they're a team that's quietly has a lot of good talent. Obviously you got Lamar, Mark Andrews, and even like when Mark Andrews doesn't play, having Isaiah Likely on your team is not a bad option because when he played, he was a great player to have, and I'm sure at some point he will be fantasy relevant again. Dobbins, JK, Rashad Bateman,
They
even
certainly have a lot of injuries all the time.
they do, and I feel like that's what always holds them back. They have all those players that's like you draft them and you're like, this is going to be the year they're going to be really good, and then they have a good couple games and then they get hurt. Like even like when Hollywood Brown was on the team, I feel like it was a lot of the same thing too. Like I feel like that's a Ravens thing going on.
Yeah.
You think they're going to keep Lamar though? I really think I think he could leave.
I would say that the Ravens would be stupid not to keep Lamar. And I think Lamar wants to stay there, but if I was Lamar,
It's hard to tell.
It's
hard to tell what he wants.
If you go back to the Ravens, they already are skeptical about paying you big money. And I'm not the biggest Lamar guy as far as him being a winning quarterback, but he needs a team, he needs an offense around him if you want, and he can go win if he has an offense around him. My worry about is Lamar Jackson. I want all this money. You're going to pay me all this money. And then you're still not going to go out and get me a receiver because you don't want to pay anybody else. And that's been his problem with the Ravens this whole time. He doesn't, I mean, obviously he has some weapons, but he could use some more weapons to throw to. And I think that if he goes to the Ravens, he can get his bag, but they're not going to spend money on anybody else. So if I'm Lamar, I might want to go somewhere else.
I just got done talking about like all these weapons they have. They're like a wide receiver 1 away from being
like Mark Andrews is their wide receiver 1 right now, which is he's a great, I mean, that's kind of how it is with the Chiefs too, but still like they could definitely use like one more very good wide receiver for sure. And that's why I think, but I will say with the Ravens, so the Ravens were definitely on my mind and I didn't write them down, but here's my story about the Ravens kind of putting this to the test. So we both have a friend. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but well, you will know. He's a Ravens fan. So I don't want to name names out there, but I was in a fantasy league this year with this friend, and honestly, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. It was his first year, and here's the thing. It was his first year, and if you looked at his fantasy draft, you'd be like, what the heck is this guy doing? Here's the thing. He's a Ravens fan. He drafted almost all Ravens fans, and his team was really nice until Lamar Jackson got injured. Everyone heading into the season was like, we were like talking about the last place punishment, and we were like, okay, what's so-and-so going to do for the last place punishment? Like before the season even got started, we were like writing this guy off completely. He was in a playoff spot for a very large part of the season. Injuries definitely affected him. And then like he had to make some trades and stuff like that because like they were all going to be on a bye week at the same time. So I think that all affected him. So in the grand scheme of things, don't draft players from all one team. But he has,
if you were,
but but in theory, Lamar Jackson, he had Mark Andrews, I think he had J.K. Dobbins, he had Justin Tucker, who he drafted way too early in the draft.
there's always someone, always someone.
but yeah, I mean, like his team was actually way better than anyone thought because we were just like thinking that he was just being a fanboy of the Ravens, but it worked out. My other team, though, final team, actually could be up there from a dynasty perspective too. Maybe a little bit older, but the Vikings. Kirk Cousins finished as I want the league to know this. I want our dynasty league to know this.
Can't stand the Vikings.
That's my fantasy quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Listen, we know he was going to get to the playoffs, and it wasn't really his fault per se, but he wasn't going to get the job done in the end. But Kirk Cousins finished as the QB6. Okay, the QB6 in our league. I want our dynasty league to know that. I'm putting that out there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. He was like hovering around 9, but he took a little bit of a jump. Dalvin Cook, obviously, Justin Jefferson, best wide receiver in the league, and then you got T.J. Hawkinson too, who was the tight end too in our league. So
Thielen had a quiet year too, but like quiet isn't like a pretty good year actually. If you go like game by game, like he outperformed what I thought he did when I was looking at his stats.
Hawkinson?
No, Adam Thielen.
Oh yeah, Thielen, because he's kind of old and he's not. I mean, he's their wide receiver 2 now, and like for sure. But yeah, exactly. Like Thielen is still a solid weapon too. I'm excited to see what Alexander Madison does, but I don't think he's going to be on the Vikings next year. But
yeah, I think he's a great player to have.
But yeah, those are kind of my teams. I would actually think like the Bengals were my number 1, and like the Vikings are very good too from a fantasy perspective.
Who would you say?
The Bengals are my number 1. I kind of want to put the Vikings as number 2.
Yeah, I did. I put my 4 Eagles, Bengals, Lions, Ravens. And there's teams obviously like Bills are a team that's up there. The Chiefs, even though the Chiefs, we'll talk about the Chiefs in a second, and I'm really excited to get into the next one. So we'll get into the next segment right after this. But their weapons aren't what you would think when you think of the Chiefs. Obviously, you have Mahomes, but it's a very different Chiefs than it was a few years ago.
Yeah, it is very different. Like I just said, their tight end is their wide receiver 1. Obviously, that's not saying much because he is deserving of that in a sense, but still. All right, so here's the deal. There's 4 remaining teams in the NFL. We've got the Chiefs, we've got the Bengals, we've got the Eagles, and we got the 49ers. Tyler and I are going to do a fantasy draft using only those 4 teams, and me and him are going to have a 1-week matchup for whatever our fantasy teams we draft, and we're doing it. The bet is for a cheesesteak of choice. What would be your cheesesteak of choice?
I would go with Cleavers. I would go for a Cleavers cheesesteak.
I like Cleavers. I'm a little all over the place. I can't solidify it. I always say D'Alessandro's, but I'm going to say Angelo's. I'm going to say Angelo's down in South Philly. I
would, if you win, I wouldn't be mad because I would love to try those. Also, Carmine's at Reading Terminal. I hate going to Reading Terminal because it's just a pain, but amazing cheesesteak.
That's definitely true. All right, so we're playing for a cheesesteak here. We're not really going to have a clock, but we'll try to keep it moving forward. Oh, wait, shit. Who gets the first pick?
You can have it. I'll let you have it.
All right. I appreciate it. All right. Minimally prepared here.
But we should say that it is same as our roster, minus the kickers, because just like we talked about, whatever episode that was, that kickers are too big of a difference. So it's 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, 1 super flex, a defense, and a tight end.
All right. So with the first pick in the NFC Championship Fantasy Draft, I'm going. Where am I going? I am going with. Oh man. I'm going with Christian McCaffrey.
Wow. I was not expecting that.
I didn't really. It's weird to play. Well, whatever. It is what it is.
I am going to go Jalen Hurts first pick.
All right.
I just got to stick with him. I feel like fantasy wise, he just has the potential to score the most out of the quarterbacks, even though a lot of people would probably disagree.
I mean, I agree with that because
That
I
rushing is
think he would
just
have not that he literally has the highest ceiling, but like he's a rushing quarterback, so he easily could score the most fantasy points.
right.
All right. I am gonna go with Joe Burrow.
Solid pick. All right. Now I'm gonna do it. I'm going Mahomes. I'm going Mahomes in my super flex.
All right. I hope he plays.
My first little taste of super flex. We should say if he doesn't play, I get whoever is backup. I get Henny.
Yeah, that's fine. You can get the backup.
Yeah, it's just team quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. I am gonna go. See, this is funny because like you could screw me over if you wanted to if I don't pick a quarterback right here.
No,
Well,
I
no,
can't
you
draft
can't.
another
No, you
quarterback.
can't. All right, that's fine. That's fine. You can't. You can't pick another quarterback, so I'm safe. Which is why I'm gonna go ahead. I know what position I want to pick, but I am skeptical. All right, I'm going Travis Kelce.
A good pick. There's a lot of good tight ends though. There are a
There
lot of
are a
good
lot
tight
of good
ends.
tight ends. He stands out for me though, for sure. I mean, obviously, I guess, but
All right.
I'm just nervous about picking any Chiefs player right now.
Give me Mixon. Yeah, as I was saying, he could score 6 touchdowns and a half. So explosive player, excited to have him on the squad.
All right. I had give me some extra time to think about my pick, and I can't let this one go by. I got to go Jamar Chase.
I was almost about to go there, but there's a lot of wide receiver talent.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Which is why
I got some heavy hitters. I honestly though, you got
you do.
heavy hitters at the quarterback position though.
I'm gonna go with a player who I believe is gonna have the best fantasy game of a skill position, not a quarterback. Mr. AJ Brown.
All right, I like that pick. Here's my cat. This is the first appearance from my cat.
Pickle's a legend.
Yeah, here's the thing. As I go through my thought process on my next pick, the Eagles kind of we've seen them do this before, and they're game planning, obviously. They had such a good running game last week going against the 49ers. The defense of the 49ers didn't look outstanding, but like I think they go passing. I think they go heavy passing this week. They went heavy running last week. Go heavy passing this week.
The corners are definitely a weak spot for the Niners. And also, I don't know if you saw that interview from AJ today, but he was kind of hinting at, if I'm to make inferences, which I don't like doing, but in my opinion, he was hinting at kind of like, I'm a player who you just need to keep involved. Like, get me the ball like early and often, and I'll make a play even if I'm not open. It's like when even sorry, Gatsby has jumped up behind me for those listening
I'm
on.
also trying to push my fucking cat out of the way.
But what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, is that he's basically saying, "Get me the ball, even if I'm not open, I'm open."
Yeah, bro.
I'm always open.
There's a comedian
24/7.
on like social media that has
I
been
saw
making
that.
jokes about him. It's hilarious. I'm open. I'm open. All right, I like it. So you went AJ Brown. And oof. All right. It's kind of nice to know that I don't have to worry about my second quarterback super flex position at this point.
Yeah, that could be your last pick.
Yeah. Um, okay, so like with that being said, it's tough. I mean, man, I guess I'll go Miles Sanders.
Man, that's a good pick. I
I
almost went
mean,
there last pick too.
I yeah, like part of me wants to pick Pacheco in that position if I was thinking running back. not necessarily that he would be my very next pick, but like if I'm thinking between those two running backs, because of what I just said about the Eagles going pass heavy, probably, I think. And Isaiah Pacheco, though, if Mahomes is injured, they could be running him more, but we'll see.
True. All right. That being said, give me. Man, this is where it gets tough. It's getting real tough right now.
It is. This is very tough.
And I'm looking, I'm like, man, there's gonna be some players on this team that's a risk. And now, but you saying Pacheco, because I was thinking McKinnon. But I'm like, well, now that you're saying Pacheco, maybe I can wait a little bit on McKinnon and you'll go Pacheco, but I kind of want Pacheco
well,
too.
now you're giving away all your secrets.
I know. So that's why I'm just
giving away mine too, I guess.
So I'm just gonna go. Let's go McKinnon.
All right. I gotta go back to the all right. We're going McKinnon. Well, one of those two. All right, just writing it down. All right. Oof. Oof. All right. Lots to pick from here, man. Okay, at this point, I feel like oh, I'm gonna go. I'm worried that I'm gonna end up with a position with some player who's not gonna like get any points.
There's gonna be a flex position for sure. That's gonna be a shot in the dark.
But you know what? Regardless, I gotta go T. Higgins here. Give me the wide receiver duo. Give me the whole goddamn offense. I got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins.
It's the theme of the episode, I guess.
Yeah, true. I said they were a great. I said they were a great fantasy team.
Man, I don't want to pick Debo at all. I want to stay away from Debo, but I'm like, my brain's like, you're out of your mind for Debo still being on the board right now and you still needing a wide receiver too. But at the same time, I don't know.
Oof.
Yeah, we're going Debo.
Oof. Okay. I mean, I don't think that's a bad pick.
It's just me being like, just I don't want to root for him at all. Not that I have to root for him because it's for a cheesesteak, but like
we like stayed completely away from the 49ers.
Besides your first overall pick, yeah.
Oh yeah, I went Christian McCaffrey first. We have stayed far away from them. We're like, nah, they're getting no points.
Yeah, you're like zero yards of offense.
Oh man. Okay. Listen, you went Debo. I gotta go Devontae.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go you. I was gonna go Devontae too and like match you and be like, okay, you want the Bengals? I got the Eagles receivers.
I actually was eyeing up. You see, I did start eyeing up backup running backs at this point already. So I was looking at Ayuk a little bit, and I was looking at Elijah Mitchell a little bit, and we'll see. I don't know. I'm worried about Purdy and how much they're going to use, if they're going to use him the same way they used him last week with the passing game. So, but Ayuk would have been a good pick there too. I don't know.
All right. Give me the only wide receiver one on the board, Juju.
Okay. We're going to put that in your flex. Ooh, you know what's wild? I feel like I made a mistake.
I definitely did too at one point.
All right. Man,
I could have flipped an order.
All right. You went Juju. All right, here's the mistake that I think I made. Oh man, this is so hard. I don't know if this is a good way of thinking or not, but I kind of want to go with a tight end right now. Another tight end in my second flex spot. I guess that is because what
It's
other
not a bad option.
I mean, what other running backs am I going to go with? I guess Pacheco. I could go Pacheco.
Gee, you're talking about Pacheco like 5 rounds ago.
I know. I feel like it's such a question mark right now with that offense, but
I honestly don't think it is. I think Mahomes is playing, and it is what it is.
Yeah, Mahomes is going to play, and he's honestly like, even if he's injured, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like he will outplay most quarterbacks with an injury.
Yeah.
There's all right. Let me just do one last little scan through here. Don't want that. Don't want that. All right. I mean, let's go Birds, man. I got to go Dallas Goedert. Give me that whole offense too.
Man, you're gonna make me take Kittle.
I mean, I was tempted to take him too. Like him and Purdy seem to have that connection.
What positions do you need still?
So I just filled up. So all I need is a super flex and a defense. All you need is a tight end, a flex, and a defense.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I could chill on Kittle. I was like, man, you're gonna make me take Hayden Hurst. Give me so. Oh man, I don't want to put Ayuk, but he's nice. We're gonna put Ayuk in there.
All right.
At least if the Niners go crazy, at least I win a cheesesteak out of it.
There you go. You can get through your sorrows with some greasy cheesesteaks.
That's what I'm gonna be going for at that point.
All right. Ooh, baby. Man, let's go with the Philadelphia Eagles defense, man. Now, I'm just going to say this right here, right now. I kind of briefly brought it up in the beginning. Actually, I don't know if I did officially. I traded for Brock Purdy this offseason. That was the one and only trade that's been made. So, like, deep down, I hope the Eagles win, but it's like a high-scoring game. But I'd also be totally okay if we expose the fuck out of Brock Purdy.
I thought you were about to say you'd be okay if, like, Brock Purdy went crazy and, like, just, like...
No. I still wouldn't want the 49ers to win. But like it would be cool if they lost, but like their defense just looked horrible or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I don't care how we win. I just want to win. All right, we're gonna go Bengals defense.
All right.
Niners are the best defense on the board, but I can't do it at that point. If I have to take, I can't go.
Yeah, they were literally the best defense
Ayuk,
in the league.
Niners, Kittle, like.
If you took their defense, like one player could go off and it's fine, but if you took their defense, that probably means the Eagles just look bad.
Yeah, if they play well. All right, so I'm filled out because then my last pick is Kittle. You can't take him anyway.
Right, yeah, we know that already. And all right, so oh shit. Wait, so I gotta go Brock Purdy.
Yep, now you're throwing Purdy on the squad.
I had no choice. That was the case from the very beginning, but
yep.
Damn, I didn't want to take him in this too, but all right. Because I want Purdy to do good next season.
You don't have to. You could put anyone in a super flex.
Oh, that's true. I mean, can I take that back? Because I kind of
I'll let you.
I mean, I still might want to go with Purdy, but it is possible that like last week he didn't have a good week for fantasy. Like he might.
All right, I'll give you 30-second timer
to
ponder. Ready, set, go.
I mean, there's players who could randomly have a good game.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
I'm going with Tyler Boyd. I just don't want Purdy.
Tyler Boyd, you can pick any player.
I'm locking it in. Tyler Boyd, dude. Give me that whole offense.
Oh, man.
I just don't want Purdy, dude.
This dude talked about Pacheco in the 3rd round.
I should have went Pacheco, dude.
This dude talked about Pacheco in the 3rd round, and he goes undrafted.
Bro, I literally saw Tyler Boyd, and I just went with him. I don't know. Listen, if he scores a touchdown, I'll be happy.
I don't feel confident in my squad, to be honest, but You know what? It is what it is. I'm going to roll with it. And if I win a cheesesteak, I win a cheesesteak. Hopefully the Eagles win and I win a cheesesteak. But as long as the Eagles win, I will be happy.
Let us know who you think is going to win a cheesesteak. And we'll be sure to follow up with this. And we will give you content of us eating cheesesteaks because everybody loves. There's never enough content of people eating cheesesteaks on the internet. We know that.
We'll ask the great owners of Cleavers if they know who the Death by Dynasty hosts are, and we'll get the word out. We'll talk to them.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll get their fantasy football knowledge.
Exactly. That's true. We'll do all that. All right. Any other last words for the people?
Go Birds.
I was about to say, I did that. Once I said that,
there's really nothing else you can say.
Go Birds! I'm yelling into my microphone. Go Birds!